Good, Carissa did it.
Wow.
Yeah. I was too busy.
I guess that's a good thing, right?
Usually. Depends on the day.
I'm catching up now. That's good. Slowly but surely.
You'll catch up and then something will happen.
Oh yeah, well, I was also away for a whole week, so like that whole week back, I'm like, I don't know.
Yes.
It's like survival. Ooh.
It took me 15 minutes. But I did it. And I said to my kids, look what I did. Did I do it right? And they're like, yeah, it was good. We're so proud of you, Mom.
Oh.
I had a baby. Okay.
We're so proud of you. Congratulations.
It's not as long as we think. Like, this is difficult for me, people.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
It was good. Yeah.
Good.
How was your daughter's? Oh, God, so much fun.
Yeah.
The best time. It was kayak, river, got all the wedding stuff done.
Good.
Yeah.
So you saw the location and
Oh my God. You know, you wonder, I'm sorry, I'm like, what is it? I don't like it.
yes. Good.
Oh my God. Just
That's amazing.
the view in the mountains.
Yeah.
You can't get it.
Yeah.
Well,
that's amazing. I mean, we're still planning on going. But it's insane. All day, like of course Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Beautiful, sunny. And I knew it rains, but it's like. I'd like to post, but I mean, it's the true hurricane. But like my sister, my nephew, my brother-in-law, my mom, we have a whole family coming, so we're gonna end up just staying. And I'm not going back. I'm not doing this again. Yes, in a hurricane. So I can't wait. So we'll see. We're going. I mean, it is hurricane season, so I can't believe anyone other than my brother-in-law for booking this time of year.
It's good enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was waiting. 2 days before.
Yeah.
Just sitting here.
I wanted to. I'm excited. I'm here. You know, I'm tired. You go back to the house. Okay, now. That's what you're talking about doing this.
It's gonna be a hell of a trip.
I have my grocery order. Hello. How are you?
How are you doing?
Good.
Okay, this is Steve Masterson.
We are recording.
Yeah. It's like this company for a meeting when I called you back. All right.
That's one of the two that fell apart.
267.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I'm gonna listen to it again. I think I need to listen to it.
Where are my peeps?
Okay.
You're really hoping for some attendance here.
Yes, I am. This is for.
Yeah.
That's me. Sit there.
I don't want to sit. Big cameras.
And it's not that long. It's Nicole. But it's NICE.
Is that the worst? You're waiting for clients to sign?
Yes. And it's like, You're constantly checking the email.
It's okay. Everybody that doesn't want to
I'm
be
moving
up
here.
front.
I know.
I don't know.
I didn't
Steve,
want
are
to
you
do
like
that.
that? Or you don't want to be up front?
No, I used to be a school principal, so I
Oh,
stood
so you're
in front of
used
them.
to
Okay,
it.
all right, well then you need
I
to show
fought- I
these,
You go
fought
to
in front of
him
people for
first.
many
you need to
Yeah.
show these people how it's
I have
done.
nothing.
Because the rest of them are like,
Like, I don't like.
I'm ad-libbing. I got nothing. Just figure it out. Oh, should I look at
oh
the
yeah,
screen?
well,
Should I scoot over?
you can
so
just
I'm not in
ignore it.
there?
No, I'll move
Okay.
the,
Oh, my
I'll move it, whoever's talking.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
Sorry,
Yeah, I don't.
Just keep it pointed there.
yeah. Keep it at Steve.
Yeah. Then I thought I missed it. I thought it was yesterday. I screwed up. Thank God.
You're all good. I would have called you. Where the hell are
I
you?
figured. What's your last name, Steve? I don't know if we- Hey, Rich. Say again?
Master of Homes.
That's true.
Put you right in front of the
Yeah.
camera.
Yep.
That last
We're
one.
gonna put it right
We're
on
gonna-
you. You
no.
see?
No, we're not
Next
doing that.
time, next time you should be here first.
No,
Yeah.
She was talking to me.
Oh, no.
She was sitting here. She was sitting here.
Yeah, just turn it.
So it's gonna get moved around the whole time. So get
It's-
over it.
yeah, we're screwed.
So today we're going to talk about like what we're seeing in the market. We are not going over like the numbers. That's not the point of this because everybody can look up the numbers. Bright's really good at putting that together for us. But I want to ask about like what you're seeing personally when you're out talking to buyers, sellers, even just people that you're talking to real estate about. Doesn't have to be a client. Who wants to go first? I guess you're gonna go first. They're gonna volunteer you,
Just
Steve.
general and talking about real estate, is that
Yeah.
what we're asking?
Yeah, what's the market seem like for you right now?
It's all over the place. It's all over the place. I think things are I think there are still really hot pockets. I live in like Eastern Montgomery County, like the Jenkintown area. I really like Rydal, which is like Huntington
Mhm.
Valley. I looked at a house there yesterday myself for me and my wife. It's $625 price right. I say this. I see many houses. I don't go gooey over houses often. I really, really like this house. Price right. It's going to be gone by tomorrow. By Saturday, it's going to be gone. Philadelphia market's definitely changing.
Are you making an offer on it?
I'm not. No, I can't have my teenager son try to beat me up anymore for moving. I already did that once. So we're going to skip on that. One of the other reasons is I'm looking for a vacation home down the shore, South Jersey. I'm not seeing anything I like down there, and I'm still seeing all the houses on the island go. My mom lives off island. I listed her. She lives off island in the Villas, which is like just outside of Cape May, North Cape May, 360, 395, no inspections, no appraisal waiver. So like those pockets are still there, but then I have a listing in Fox Chase, which is kind of like my hometown. And, you know, last year it'd be gone by now. And last year I kept telling myself, understand that they're not all going to sell in 7 days. And you don't have to do any work. So you're going to have to do a little work. And I explained it to my client last night. Hey, we're perfectly fine. We have showings. We're not flat. You know, you go onto your social sites and read things on Facebook. Obviously, the rates and the Fed yesterday was a big deal. I'm interested to see what the winter will bring.
Okay. What are you seeing, Gina?
I'm seeing the same thing. I've had listings that have sold in like 2 days and it's crazy. And then I have listings that are still sitting there.
And what do you think the difference is? Is it the
Well,
way they're,
The Fishtown listing is Philly. It's the news. It's the constant crime. I think that's what's killing that property because it's a nice brand new, well, it was new in
and
2015.
Fishtown, you couldn't get in.
Yeah, they bought it in 2015, new construction. So it's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhome with garage, with basement,
Wow.
and a fenced in 8/10 of an acre yard,
Wow.
which
That's
you
huge
don't
in
usually see
Fishtown.
that. No. But if I go down the street to the Wawa, I'm definitely getting carjacked. Like, no question. She told me, the seller told me, she's like, don't go to Wawa. Your car will not be there when you come out. So that's a problem.
Yeah.
So that's sitting there. I just listed a townhouse in Makefield Glen. Did not think it was going to be crazy. It was out of control. 2.5 days. I had to shut down showings because the seller was losing her mind. She has small kids. We had 12 offers, all over asking, waived appraisals, waived inspections, 12 offers. And I put a deadline on it
Wow.
and then stopped showings too.
Okay.
I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason.
Are
I
you
don't
running
understand
any
why it was
buyers right
crazy.
now?
No, thank God. I'm not.
Okay. Okay. I'm just
My
curious.
my
about-
buyers have faded too.
Buyers have faded.
I mean, I have buyers, but
Yeah.
they're all like under contract and,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of them are scared of the rate. But
But the buyers are not as plentiful as they were.
no, but I've been telling people, don't back off the market, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you love the house, buy the house, the rate will change.
Yeah.
Just lock in your rate. You can change it in a few years. There's no reason to not buy the house.
There you go. Sorry.
Nice and
It's
close.
both of you.
Nice and close.
Nice and close.
So as far as listings go, what I'm basically seeing are, we've got less listings than we did a year ago. The ones that are selling are the ones that are done nice, priced right. The ones that haven't been updated in say 20 years or so, those seem to be just sitting because those sellers haven't gotten on board yet with, they're not going to get top dollar for those houses. I think buyers are reluctant to pay top dollar and know that they have to then put a bunch of money in to update it. So they're being a little more reserved in that
And their
sense.
payments aren't as low as they were a
Well,
year
with
ago.
rates being up, their payments are high, plus, you know, they don't know where the market's gonna go. My buyers have definitely dropped off. Like I was working with a bunch of buyers actively over the summer who haven't, the ones that have not purchased, they stopped calling. The ones that I'm working with now are the ones that are like, just maybe the people that were not actively looking, that think that the market's changing right now. I'm getting random calls now that they want to start looking. So I think that's, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market, especially with the rates being.
And
so
there's
high.
a lot of objections for buyers right now. Like, what are you doing to overcome those? You want to start?
Well, and I was gonna say almost identical to what Rich said. My business is like 90% buyers. So I was ready for a shift.
Okay.
But with what's coming on the market, especially for buyers who have been looking in the last 6 months to a year that were making very strong offers, they are used to the beautifully updated, perfect homes that they would pay $80,000, $90,000 over for, but we're beat out. And now everything coming on is the original owners, wallpaper, kitchen, and they just don't have the funds. They're already putting in everything they have. They can't then rehab a home, and they're not even getting those at much lower of a price. I'm still seeing those homes, they are eventually selling and maybe 10,000 over with 2 offers versus 22 offers and 80,000 over. So
But
I'm
you're
sh-
still seeing over asking price even on those homes that aren't done.
I am. Everything that I've made an offer on in the last year has had a minimum of two offers.
What areas do you typically?
So my
do most of
average is more like 350 to 450. I do prefer first time buyers, which is not the
No, it's
smartest
not-
business
well, it's not the
decision,
norm.
but so you know, selling a lot of condos lately in
Okay.
like Horsham and you know, that 250 to 350, they're still very motivated. It's just when we see something, we're still competing with 10, 15 offers in that lower price range.
Yeah.
So that wasn't what you asked me, but what did you
No,
ask
that's
me?
okay. Like objections, how are you dealing with buyers that are like, you know, should we not buy right now?
All of my buyers are pretty motivated, even with the higher. I'm starting to get a little nervous now that we're 6.5, but they don't have another option. If they're renting, their rent's being increased by 10% a year now. A lot of people are getting tired of living with family, and we can't even find them a rental. So they're still, if they're purchasing a home, they're paying a little bit more monthly, but not far off of what they'd be paying in a rental. So I still have a decent amount of buyers. I just can't find them anything. I need more is still under 400 for a 4-bedroom if anybody has anything. So we just need inventory.
I'm gonna have a 2-bedroom in Liberty Square. It needs a lot of rehab.
Yeah.
So what about sellers? Do you have, we'll let her in. I think you're in, actually. No, you're in. What about sellers? What kind of objections do you have with sellers right now? Are they worried about missing the market? Do you think they're like putting their houses on the market now because they're like, oh, we better sell while we still can? Or you feel like they are still like, I'm going to put whatever price I want on? What are you seeing with your sellers?
I think there are sellers that are afraid to miss the boat, and they are getting their houses ready to put on the market. I had a bunch. I'm dwindling down to the people that I had coming up, so I have to reload. But you know, yeah. So I think they are trying to get in there because there's too much uncertainty.
And how about like with setting their expectations? Talk to me about what you're telling them.
I just want a listing that's been active for like, a week, I think today. And it was just flat out honesty. We can't do what we did in the past year, 18 months ago. You didn't even have to put a sign in, right? Probably didn't have to write a description. You just throw one picture up and they'll come through and they'll make an offer. So just being really honest, it's not that time. It's not that period of time. You have to price it right. And if the buyers are there and it's priced right, and I think maybe for like the city listing I have, the house is done enough. I was in Chalfont the other night. I call it the Tim the Toolman Taylor special. It was 1988. Nothing changed. Offer deadline. So those still happen.
But if they're priced right, a lot
Yeah,
of
but they won't be
sellers-
priced right after an offer deadline. It's over asking. So, but again, yeah, pricing matters. But just telling people just the honest truth. You're not going to get it. I think that ship has sailed. Like this little area that I'm talking about, I sold one on the street, a twin, and we did really well, but a few thousand under what the neighbor sold for, and then a couple other are less. So I think the ship moved out back in the summer. So they may want to get in, but again, I think a lot of our sellers too are also buyers, and that's always the juggling act that we can't really pull off. Buyers have
So-
really specific taste before they list their houses.
So the next thing that leads into that is, we couldn't even tell our buyers, you have to sell. We used to have to say, you don't have a choice. You can't have a home sale contingency. You can't have, anything. Like you're going to be competing with people that are paying cash. What do you do? Right now, what are you saying?
I think we need the market to get to a point, which I'm hoping will be at some point in 2023, where we can make an offer with even a 10-day home sale contingency, because that will open up so much inventory of that second and third time move up buyer that is ready and have beautiful homes that are not confident enough that they're going to be able to have an offer accepted. I feel like that we need that for.
That'll be back very soon.
I see it coming back. I'll turn it on me for a minute. So I see that happening around here right now. I see home sale contingencies coming back. I see inspections. I just closed a VA buyer. I put an offer in on another VA buyer yesterday. The house has been on the market for over 2 months. It's been empty. And we made an offer $25,000 under asking with a home sale contingency and inspections with VA. And guess what? They have nothing else. So if they don't work with us, they're going to sit on the market for another 30 days before a price reduction. And I don't think that sellers have come to terms with the fact that, you got to take what you get, and that buyers actually set the market, not sellers. So like the listing agent called me and she's like, well, why would you come in 25,000 under? I said, because that's where we think the house is worth. And she's like, well, can you explain why so I can tell my sellers? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I need to tell you why the house isn't worth what you have it listed just because you made that price? So it's funny to me though, because you used to make offers below asking price and you kind of take what you can get. And now we've had this, shift where sellers still think that they should be able to put whatever price tag and take, a sale. Oh, I don't want inspections. Well, guess what? You don't get to decide that anymore.
Yeah, I'm going to her pricing now for a new listing, and it's in Newtown. And she's basing it on prices of houses that are closed, which is fine. But I send her a list of all the houses, and I'm like, please look at the list price. The list price was like 150,000 under what it closed at, but it was also market timing.
Right.
So it's very hard to base your sale price on homes that were in a bidding war in the spring. That's my point of view.
Right. Even 3 months ago, the market's changed a lot. 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And with higher interest rates, people can't afford to buy a house at a higher price per month where they're still paying, like you said, top dollar.
Yeah.
And fix things later on. It's not in the budget. It was different when they were paying 3% interest.
Right.
I'd say from a real estate perspective, I don't know if anyone here is thinking about being an investor themselves, but I have a couple rentals and I'm gonna start looking for property again that starts with a 1 because I've seen them pop up in the MLS and that's really where I want to be. And I want something in my zone that I want. And I'm gonna look, and with the old adages, I think these rates aren't gonna last forever. So I'd rather buy something low and refi out at a later date.
I agree. Are you guys talking to your clients about like doing creative financing, like using an ARM again?
Adjustable rates.
Adjustable rate mortgage? You're
I lived
using
through
that?
the 2008 crisis. No.
So you're in the school of thought of like, that's just a bad idea.
I think I had 20 friends that worked for Countrywide Mortgage that went belly up. So I know all about it.
Okay.
So what you're talking about maybe is the subprime type
Mhm.
arm,
Yeah,
where they
that's-
were only good for 2 or 3
Right.
years.
And they were like
There's-
interest only
Right.
and
There's conforming products that are fixed for 7 years or 10 years, so you
Yeah.
can get a break. That's a long time, and during that time, you hope that the interest rates are going to go lower, and you can refinance out into a 30-year fixed.
correct.
So 7 years, I'm not doing a 2 or 3 year because who knows where things are
Right.
going to be. But
I just had a buyer do a 10-year ARM on like $1 million house because the rate was better.
Yeah, 5-year I
Yeah.
had. I wouldn't go less than a 5-year.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't even do an ARM.
I mean, when you look
That's
at,
just me.
well, there's a different
It's
school
me.
of thought,
Yeah.
like you said, the subprime market was very different. And look, I'm not a lender, but, when you look at the history of interest rates and the cycle, kind of like real estate,
we're still below the average, like the historical average of interest rates.
Right.
So they're technically still good, but based on the past 10+ years, this is all we've known is these low
Right.
interest rates.
I mean, my friend's HR for a big mortgage company, they laid off 14,000 employees.
Yep.
This summer.
So do you think going in with an ARM mortgage, like to put a bid on a house is gonna hurt someone versus conventional?
it doesn't matter to the seller with
I
an
don't think
arm
so.
because
Like,
it doesn't,
versus-
yeah.
I don't know that the seller's going to see that. Doesn't the
It
block
still
just say
comes as
30?
conventional.
It's still
Oh,
a
it still
30.
says 30.
It's still a 30-year. You're going to put conforming. You don't have to put that it's an arm or a fixed rate.
Right.
Okay.
The mortgage
Even if they
company's gonna
see it on the
qualify them on a
pre-approval,
fixed
it's not
rate,
gonna
so-
matter.
So if someone was pre-approved, say the 30-year conventional, could they go back to their lender and say,
Yes.
hey, let's talk about a 7 to 10 year?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
My bigger concern is how much money they're putting down. Is it 20-80-20? Is it 90-10? Because then we have appraisal issues, and do they have the money to cough up if it doesn't appraise?
And are you seeing low appraisals yet?
I had one, but that was just a really bad appraisal.
I haven't had any this past year.
I haven't seen any yet,
Okay.
because everyone's
I've been
waiving
good with
appraisals.
I
I've
don't
had
think we've
Right.
had any deals.
Yeah,
not
but we
because of
have a
appraisals.
lot of history now of higher sales. I
Yeah, so it
haven't,
should be fine.
I haven't been worried about appraisals in a long time.
I recently had a deal where the appraiser was coming on a Friday. I knew that there was a really good comp settling on Monday. So I told the appraiser, let's talk on Tuesday. And
Right.
that
Yeah.
one settled, and that really
That's
helped
good.
the deal and that price, so.
I haven't had any appraisal
Yeah, I mean,
issues,
yeah,
thankfully,
knock on
but
wood, right?
I am having the conversations and seeing my sellers are a little more nervous as far as waiting for the appraisal, because it's more of a, we priced a little higher than we should have. It did sell over asking, but everything is, we will try, we will see. So I think I'm scaring them too much in preparation.
But you're setting
That
those
it
expectations.
may not appraise. Like I just had one in Langhorne listed a little higher than I thought we should have because of cosmetics. One buyer had already lost out on 8 or 9 offers, so it was very high with a large appraisal gap, and my seller wanted to raise the appraisal gap. And I said, absolutely not. Be grateful what you have. You have 5 strong offers, pick one. But I'm not countering a higher appraisal
Yeah.
gap when they're already 30,000 over.
Mhm.
The buyer doesn't have the funds, but the seller, I kind of scared her a little bit that she's prepared. It's not going to, we'll see. Hopefully it's not too low, but
About strategies for your buyers or sellers in this market, like when you're making an offer, or for your sellers that might, want to price a little higher, or that are pricing right, but they might not get, multiple offers. Anything to entice buyers?
I haven't had to do that in a long time.
All right.
I mean, in
But
the
it's
past.
coming up, right?
It's coming up
I had
again.
a conversation with a listing appointment yesterday about not pricing it too high because we're into a different market where the comps were showing 2-3 months ago. So I don't know if I got it yet, but I'll know tomorrow. There was like 3 or 4 other agents up against me on this one, but I think they liked what I had to say. And,
Yeah.
I showed them 0 to 30 days, 30 to 60, 60 to 90 as far as the settles go. And I showed them from the list price to the asking price. And if the home sits on the market more than 7 days, that they're getting less for the house than if it sells right away. And I showed them some active comps that were similar to theirs that were priced just a hair higher than where they wanted to list at. And they're still sitting for 40 days, 50 days. And so I think they got it.
I think those numbers that you just said are tough though, because 7 days. When I started in 16, that meant nothing. 7 days. I
No,
was like,
agreed.
oh, so the interest rates have moved so fast that like none of these numbers even mean anything. Like 7 days, it's going to be 30. Be ready for 30 days. Be ready for 40 days, because everything has changed so quickly. I mean, it really has gone fast.
Yeah.
It
The
has.
shift,
people-
the shift was overnight.
Yeah.
And it continues to, because of
Mhm.
interest rates and because of the volatility in the market. And I mean the stock market.
Yeah. Yep. And I find underwriting's getting much tougher, more than
I'll
before.
second that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I asked my lender if they were getting tighter in the department due to what's going on with the interest rate environment. I didn't get a straight answer, but to me, my last 3 deals, buyer-wise, they all are planning in the same fashion.
Yeah.
So it was
I've had
really
buyers
interesting.
walk away from it and just pay cash because they had the luxury to do that. They're like, I can't deal with this underwriter anymore, not one more day. And they're like, cancel
It's a
it.
good problem to have.
Yeah.
It is a good problem.
Yeah.
But like I just closed on a Toll Brothers yesterday. The guy's a surgeon. He makes probably $1 million a year. They were raking this guy over to coals. It was great. It was crazy. We didn't close on time. It took a whole another day to close because they needed verification from his employer the day of closing that he's actually working
I haven't
while he was
run into
operating
that.
in an operating room.
No. So in your segment, you're not
I think
seeing
they
that.
take that.
No, thankfully,
No.
I am not.
I would like you to talk about what you just were saying to me in the office about strategies. I'm gonna turn
You know you
here.
were gonna be on, dude.
She didn't.
Super fun.
You look super cute though.
So I was talking to an agent from Keller Williams Langhorne yesterday, and they did a similar panel. And they were saying like to incentivize buyers to come, to put in like the agent's remarks, seller is willing to buy down interest points. as like an idea, because then it looks like seller's assist, but you still get the purchase price. The buyer's saving a ton of money over time, and the seller is really getting what they want. And then there was another one. What did I say?
Oh, the transfer tax.
The transfer tax, that sellers were offering to pay transfer tax now to
For the
keep.
buyers?
What a
For the buyers.
180.
It's like
To
a
keep
That's
the
complete.
part,
That's
to
called
keep the
flip-flop.
purchase price higher.
What a 180, huh?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I
Pretty
just
soon
thought
we'll
those,
see
I was like,
agent
cool, I'll put those
bonuses.
away.
Yep.
We'll start seeing.
We'll
it
see
all
credits
again.
for paint.
What?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
I saw a credit for a carpet today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna start seeing all those little bonuses again, trying to get people to bring their buyers and make offers, which was something else that I just had it. Hold on. I know. I'll stop thinking about it. Then it'll come to me. Oh, staging. Don't you think that homes really like need to show well right now?
Yes.
They need to be show ready instead of like, taking a photo of the front of the house with your camera on your
100%.
phone. I think that, our job again is going to be that marketing that we
I have a
haven't
great
had.
staging company.
Yeah.
They have a warehouse in Philly. They have so much furniture to choose from, styles, everything. She's
Great.
an interior decorator.
It's great.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be important. How about, I'm seeing a lot of homes that need like clean outs, like people that have lived in their houses for 30 years or 40 years and they don't know what to do with it, or they think that all their stuff is worth money.
Yeah.
What are you doing about those clients?
I'm looking up the name of the person that does the clean outs. They're in Rosetown.
My brother-in-law does my clean outs. He has a business. He may be able to sell some of this stuff in the house, and if there is valuable things in
That Rose knows where it goes.
Yep,
but
that's
most-
one.
Rose Miller.
Yep.
Most of it just is not worth it. So, the last listing I got, I was offering my people, they had a shed they wanted to get rid of. I was like, I'll bring my clean out guys out, knock it down and haul off just to win it out. Small things like that. I know I can pull that off, but you always need a good one in the back of your pocket.
I'll have to write down that Rose knows.
Yeah, Rose knows.
She's
I
good
have
for,
this
like,
guy-
organizing. and
She-
things
yeah.
like that.
This guy, Carter's Home Downsizing.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he works
Carter's
with older
great.
people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have another one, Donna Laura, she works with older.
There's a lot of them. I have one that I really love and did estate sales for me recently and
Mhm.
actually made a lot of money at the estate sales, which surprised me.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Sell it there.
Mhm.
That's good.
Yeah.
These are all good recommendations, like if we made a list, just.
Mhm.
And absolutely, every time you guys put an ask out on our Facebook page, I always write those down. You've got to have a list of referrals for your clients.
Yep.
So if you guys want to put out these referrals on our Facebook for everybody, that would be great. But if you need somebody and you want to ask, put it out there, but you need to create this list yourself.
Yeah, you can take the office list and then build on
Yep.
it.
Yeah,
That's right.
Mhm.
it's
That's right.
been a little hard with that, I feel like in the last year though, because it is impossible sometimes to get a handyman or a contractor. And I don't want that responsibility
Yep.
to my seller or my buyer.
I
don't
think
know if
that's,
anybody else.
I
is,
agree, but I think that's
but
changing.
Yeah, I mean, if there's contractors we can actually get out there, like these are reputable companies, I would love to provide that, but it was. I
Well,
just feel like a
that's
lot of
why I
contractors
think, asking the
away.
people in the office, like, we're not gonna recommend people that we can't even get a call back ourselves.
Well, that's
So-
typically what happens. Is a lot of the people that were handymans, they've built their business
Mhm.
up, and all of
Right.
a sudden they're 6 months out before you, so you gotta constantly
And it
keep
does,
turning
and it
people
does
over.
happen, but
Yeah.
you gotta constantly
Yep.
have new people in your pipeline, and we should all help each other with that. All right, so if you had a crystal ball, whatever you say right now, I'm gonna hold you to it, and I'm going to come back to you in 6 months if it doesn't happen. No, I'm just kidding. What do you think? Where do you think the market's headed? What do you think it's gonna look like by January? I know, it's a big,
By January,
like, it'll be cold,
I mean, it's
The
gonna
market
be
will
really
be cold.
slow.
so by January.
slow.
January.
You
Yeah,
think
it's gonna be
slow?
slow.
I think it'll be slow based on
Mhm.
all of us, our buyers are just the ones that we were showing, like I said, they've like gone away. So now it's like new buyers trickling into the market is what I'm seeing. So
I've been a great fall and winter realtor for some odd reason, like busy for me. And last year the same, and I don't expect much this year. I'm not.
yeah, with rates being up where they're at, I think it's gonna be tough.
I expect to hear from my investors again.
That was
Yeah,
what I was
I
gonna
I
say.
have my investors who I've been quiet with, and as myself looking, and I'm seeing a few things pop up, I expect to hear from them again.
I think the market could really be an opportunity for some people. What were you gonna say? Your buyer, what do you think it's gonna look like in January?
I think newer buyers, like in the last month or two, aren't scared about the rate. It's just, there's not enough out there that they're interested in.
Do you think they have renewed, like they're now becoming buyers because now they know there's not so much competition?
Yeah, that's helping. And it's just if they can qualify for, it. But a week ago, they qualified
Right.
for 30,000 more. So
Right.
now this week, I'm like, all right, well, now here we are. So we'll
It's
see what
changing
happens
so
with
fast.
that over the next couple months. And I think October is really going to determine what happens in January.
I agree. I think October is gonna be very telling.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
have tenants in my first house. It's in Northeast Philly. I showed them my house in Chalfont. They're getting married in, I think, next October. They're moving no matter what. They're not staying there. They have already made the decision. They don't want to be in the city. She's kind of from more upstate, a little more country, so she wants to get away from the city. They're moving. The house I have in Fox Chase listed right now, they're 75. They're going to an older age community. They're definitely moving. So people are always going to move. You kind of have to really nurture your leads and just stay tied into them. Don't lose touch.
I think that's
Like my list of sellers and buyers, I just went over like who are my people like on my fingertips. May not have spoken to, but they're gonna come back. And you just have to be able to say like, hey, it's still good. You're not gonna get that over the moon shot price that you thought 18 months ago, but you're still gonna sell. We still need houses to sell. And people's situations change.
I think we'll still have inventory problems
Yeah,
come January.
yeah. I don't think inventory is gonna change a whole lot.
I don't see
So that would help.
prices nosediving. I see
Mhm.
prices maybe leveling off, maybe
Yeah.
coming down a little bit, but I don't see them nosediving
Perfect.
because of
Yeah,
inventory.
I agree.
You're gonna see more inspections, more appraisals. People aren't gonna just be like,
They're not just gonna take it carte blanche,
yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna come back to more balance, I
Mhm.
guess.
which I don't think is a bad thing.
No,
No, I don't
it's
either.
definitely.
Needed and good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I felt horrible with that Mayfield Glen listing. I had to tell all these people no, and they're all upset, and everybody offered over asking, and
Right.
why
We
didn't you
all
take,
have a story.
why didn't you take my
I know.
offer? And they're crying, and I'm like, I didn't make the decision, first of all, it wasn't my fault.
Right.
I'll make the seller make the choice.
I've also learned in the previous market,
Mhm.
play nice. This might have to come back now because interest rates changing, buyers affordability,
Mhm.
buyers may get scared, they may drop out. Who's the agent gonna call? The one that screamed and yelled at them or the one
Right.
that played really nice with them? And back in like 16, 17, I won tons of deals like that.
Yep.
Tons of deals as the second guy.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you just have to, a lot of that, like if you got licensed like post-pandemic where it was just like
Mhm.
whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
yet that old like classic work mentality really comes back where you just have to play the game.
I think we're gonna start seeing more like expireds again,
Yeah.
There's
and
not many on I follow, and that's what I do.
Yes.
Mhm.
There's like 3
Yeah.
today, the whole week, it's only been about 3.
right. But don't you think there's gonna be more?
Yeah, but I have to say, also with the calls with that, when I call now, they're getting 4 or 6 calls, where a few years ago, they were getting like 40 calls.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If people just
Interesting.
stop calling, so it's gonna start,
Yeah.
yeah, people are gonna start doing it again.
Yeah.
I don't get
It's
the
crazy.
call as much.
Yeah, right.
God bless.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I turned the one buyer's offer down. They had the highest price point. But they had $100,000 gift letter from the parents included with the mortgage. And I'm like, that's a crapshoot. I just know once those parents go through the underwriting process, who haven't bought a home in probably 20 plus years, they're going to be like, I'm out. I'm not doing this. because the banks are crazy. They would ask those parents for every financial piece of paper they've had for the last 2 years. Money in and out of accounts. Oh, they're crazy.
Or the parents.
The
don't-
parents. Well, the parents were giving $100,000 as a gift letter. They would have been dragged into the underwriting. I'm telling you right now.
They didn't have like a proof of funds as part of it.
No, well, they did, but not enough, right? They needed that $100,000.
No, I mean
The
the
parents.
parents.
Oh. Yeah, they did, but it doesn't matter. I just know once
Did
the
the parents
underwriter
see the
gets
house?
involved, I don't know. I wasn't
Oh,
with the
yeah.
buyers. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Right.
That was like one reason to not take that. Because even if it's the highest price, if it's not gonna close,
Right.
what's the point?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I have very qualified people throwing their hands up at underwriting.
Right. Interesting that I haven't come across a lot of problems with underwriting. So,
Well, get ready. It's a
Yeah.
nightmare.
In Jersey,
Mhm.
crazy.
It's crazy.
185 documents have to be sent, like,
Oh, yeah.
it was insane.
Mm-hmm.
The closing got put back 3 weeks, is a nightmare.
Yeah, my
And this
buyer.
was like the owner of a company who like had P&L sheets that showed, you
Mm-hmm.
know, tons of money.
right, but
But he's also
Self-employed.
W2,
self-employed.
but also W2, so
Mm.
it was crazy.
Who was the lender? I'm just curious.
Republic Bank, I did not refer them.
Mhm.
Yeah,
To Republic
any of the
Bank.
banks.
It was a
Like
nightmare.
here's an underwriting request for my surgeon. He owns like 4 different houses. He owns one in Florida, one in Jersey, one in Illinois. They wanted all the documentation on these homes and they wanted the HOA docs from Florida. Why? Why?
That's
It,
crazy.
I'm just saying, it was so ridiculous.
What
to
bank was that?
The Toll Brother Bank, the TBI mortgage, whatever it was. It was insane.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
he got rid of him. He went with a different lender then, because he's like,
Yeah,
I don't have the time or effort to gather all
and
these
that's
documents.
ridiculous.
Like, what is the point?
You guys have any other questions? Thank you. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. I think it's helpful to hear like what everybody's
It was helpful.
experiences are and what we're seeing. And I think as we see this shift kind of happen over the next, 30 days, I think we should do it again.
I just want to say, there was, he had 20, he went, put an offer in for 23 offers the other day. Dawn Little put one in yesterday and got it accepted, 30,000 offer, like that's how we're seeing
30,000.
Under.
30,000 under.
Where was your
Wow.
address, Sean? Where?
I was in Gulf Mills, Conshohocken.
With how many escalations were there?
There were 10 escalations. Every offer was over ask. Most of them waived inspection.
What
How
type
many
of
offers
property?
24.
total.
What type of property? Condo?
It was a single family
Yeah.
corner lot.
It was a low price though.
Yeah, so it was 550, but the last closed comp was not 590.
Okay.
So
So
they
priced
did
right.
that to themselves.
Got
And the seller was an agent too.
Hmm.
So.
And they were smart.
Yeah.
They got a big one.
That's risky to price it under right now.
Yeah, she created a total nightmare for herself though.
It's better than pricing it over, don't you think? Because then you're gonna have a price reduction and you're not gonna get what you started at.
How much over did it go?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't.
I
No, we
know.
don't know
didn't get
yet.
it?
No, I didn't get it, no.
How much did you go over, 30?
Yeah, 30 over. Waived inspections, waived appraisal.
Not to be, this is not political at all, but I think you're going to continue to see a flight outside of Philly. I just closed today with a guy who's 30. He sold in Ronhurst 152 and went to Pemberton, New Jersey. Sitting here, my cousin who's in Parkwood just said, I think I need to get out of the city. He's a city worker, so
Mhm.
I don't know how
Yeah.
he's going to get out, but whatever
What are
we
you
got to do.
seeing in Parkwood, by the way?
I didn't hear that.
Are the prices decreasing? in
I haven't
Parkwood?
shopped there since January. My cousin.
I'm
who's-
seeing them decrease.
All right.
My cousin who thinks that's the center of the universe, last year it was like 330 and wave everything.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of sales up there. I haven't been there in
I just saw
like-
one go pending for 305.
like an interior row, right?
I just sold an end unit to a two-bedroom, 19154 on Academy. We went over asking because we were competing. It did appraise. I don't know how. But does anybody have concerns with the taxes raising after the assessment in January. I'm kind of nervous.
I do.
you
I
know,
own a
for
property in
couple
Philly.
that I have.
I own 3 in Philly, and I can only claim 1 as homestead, because it was my original house. And
Yeah.
I just say, Sarah, what can I do with the other?
I,
thing?
my assessment just came back 100,000 over what we paid last year.
So where will your taxes go?
Right. I don't know.
Like
I
my
had
fish,
the
you
for-
can look
yeah,
it
the
up. They have a
formula that
website, yeah.
Mark gave me, and I've been like checking for my sellers that we haven't been able to find them something. I need to get them out, and they're not going to be at the same number
Right.
next year, I don't think.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
But I was like, really, 100,000, like in the city? No way. It's not worth 100,000 more I paid.
And she
last
started
summer.
with the Fishtown thing. It's interesting, because I had
Yeah.
been in Fishtown maybe like, definitely before the pandemic. I was like, yeah, it's cool down here. You know, we just need a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Philly's gonna be really, really happening.
Yeah.
And then I haven't been back since.
I love that listing in Fishtown. It's great. It really is. It's on a nice private
Right.
street. There's plenty of
What's the
off-street
price
parking.
point?
I dropped it all the way down to $4.99.
And where were the
And
comps
it's like
telling you it should have
crickets.
been?
The comp said I should have been like over 7.
That's
Mm.
crazy.
So I
Oh, wow.
listed it in June at $6.99. And then that's
And
when
now you're at
everything started
$4.99.
changing. So I dropped, every time I did a price drop, it was like a $50,000 price drop.
Wow.
And it still had
And
a
it's
tax
still
abatement.
sat there, still has a tax abatement. And I've had like 17 appoint showings, but that's like since June.
Mm.
And most people, see,
That's-
there's
125 Fishtown?
19125, yeah. So here's the thing, there's also like 20 new constructions sitting out there in the high 6s, but they have 0 taxes for 10 years.
Right.
Mine, in like 3 years, the taxes are gonna go to like 6,500. So that's another contributing factor.
Mm-hmm.
But none of those new construction have a backyard
Right. Or
or
garage.
attached garage. You can pull in, walk in your house. They may have a parking garage.
You're like one of the few in Brown that has the yard.
Yeah,
You have that good description.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
yeah. You know, it's weird in Fishtown. Like, I'm not near the action. I'm not near like all the cool restaurants.
Kind of like outskirts.
It's kind of like the outskirts, but so that I think that's hurting.
Is this
possibly.
your own personal?
No, it's a
Okay,
client's. I
fine.
sold it to them in 2015, and they're in, Pennsylvania now. They moved out a while ago.
Okay.
So they moved upstate, and they're young. But they're like, we want out of Philly.
Could you put it up for rent for a little bit?
I might have to do that. I'm gonna talk to them this
Now
week.
you're going from June to now, and the difference in just what you dropped, people are like, what's wrong? Why, what's
Yeah.
going on?
I mean, honestly,
So it's putting red flags on it.
of course, yeah. But there's only 2 listings right now in Fishtown that are
Mhm.
resales. All the rest are new
Yeah.
construction.
Yeah,
That
there's
might be a
nothing.
prime candidate for a really large buyer agent bonus.
Maybe,
Yeah.
possibly.
Give people a shot, get in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
They already
But
lowered
these are
some,
things that we
so
haven't even
We're
like
raising
talked
the-
about.
Right.
Yeah.
You're raising the commission.
I've
Yep.
had recently, the last 2 years, nothing, no buyer's remorse ever. The last 2 listings I had people make offers and then rescind them like within 24 hours. That's,
Yep.
you're seeing changes in the way buyers are feeling about the market, so.
I agree. I made an offer over asking, no, not over asking. It was like basically a for sale by owner.
Mhm.
They did like a list service. And in Richboro, it was ridiculously high price.
Mhm.
My clients went in under asking price, but still what I think was over market. And they, expected lots of offers because, they're hosting the open house and everybody loves their house and it's great and we're going to make an offer. And then they got a couple offers and they weren't that strong. And they came back to us a few days later and said, would your offer still be good? And we said, no, we've moved on. We don't think it's, and you proved it because you're
Yeah.
coming back to us. So you didn't get, so now we think we're overpaying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I had a good one done to me down the shore.
Yeah.
Jersey doesn't have the expiration date like we do.
Yes. Time of the
Time of
essence.
the essence clause, and she gave me a deadline. She forced my hand. She gave a really good offer, waived a lot, waived everything, and just said, this is it, 6 PM. So it was kind of like, all right, what are we gonna do?
Shit or get off the pot.
And it worked in her favor.
Mhm.
So another little thing to throw out there maybe for your buyers.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
All right, we'll do this again next month and see where we're at.
Last minute.
What-
I'm like watching them sit down, like, really?
Keep your head down.